We have elite special operations forces who are specifically trained in hostage rescue. I do think we have to be deferential to the Israeli government and the Israeli Defense Forces about the tactical situation on the ground. But if American military forces are called upon and can provide a viable solution to get out American citizens and the citizens of Israel or other nations, then we have to be open to that. But again, it's not just those small special operations units that we have trained. We have 2 aircraft carriers in the region. We've increased the number of troops and aircraft we have in the region. Yet Hamas is still so contemptuous of President Biden that it hasn't yet released American hostages.
Again, that's a lie from Tom Cotton. American hostages have and continue to be released, but that also accelerated pretty fast there. Tom Cotton saying U.S. Special Forces could go in to rescue the hostages. This is not a compound that hostages are being held in. You send in SEAL Team 6, you storm the compound, and then they're out. That would already potentially be a disaster considering the situation. We have no idea where the remaining hostages are being held throughout the entirety of Gaza. So what he is saying, and I'm assuming that he knows that, is U.S. Special Forces in Gaza. Just send them in to Gaza. And then I thought, oh my God, that's crazy, sending the special. And then I realized, I don't have time to pause on that because he's not interested in sending in special forces. He says, we have a lot of troops on these aircraft carriers. We just use our military. The aircraft carriers are gonna launch planes. I guess we'll do some bombing. We're gonna send in not just special forces, but the troops. We're going to invade Gaza, while being deferential to the IDF and all that. But if they want our help, then we will invade Gaza. Because the experience of these many weeks of the horror of the situation there and the many civilian casualties is not enough for Tom Cotton. Now, it's not enough that we sell or provide arms that are used to slaughter thousands and thousands of children and other civilians. No, now we need to also be the ones dropping them. We need to be pulling the trigger that kills a civilian. That is the only thing that was like the bloodlust of Senator Tom Cotton. And thankfully, he's not in charge. He's not making the decisions. The people who are in charge in America are making bad enough ones on their own. But JR, there is never a situation that some of them will not try to exploit to result in more civilian casualties.
Back to more of the same stuff. And also, actually, the number one thing there is just to bring up the Biden thing. Biden doesn't really care about American citizens, or actually, Hamas doesn't respect him enough. That's another that goes back to the same thought process of saying, if Trump was in office, nobody would do anything because everyone's petrified of Donald Trump. Or they liked to use him because he's very easy to be used. Again, I reference it every time. When he was running for president, there was intelligence reports about the way that foreign leaders approach Donald Trump, and it's the way anybody should. Butter him up, kiss his butt a little bit, make him think that you like him. He will give you gold. That's what people do. It's not that they're afraid of him. It's he's easily manipulated.
Yeah.
Just stroke his ego and he will hand you the keys to the castle. He's illustrated that in the way he talks about people that kiss his ass. And after they do that, then he says they're his best friend. He loves them and he's gonna give them anything that they want. And they go, loser. By the way, Tom Cotton there and folks that like him say, we know exactly where they are. We have to do is send this, actually they don't say we have to send these folks in and they'll very intricately find the folks that we're looking for. They just say we know what's going on still so we can keep enough confidence and support for these types of exercises. But if he says something like, we're not really sure, we still need to figure it out, then we see the kind of bombing that we've been seeing for several weeks. We go, well, why are you guys just bombing if you don't know exactly what you're doing? It seems pretty indiscriminate and you could be killing anyone, including hostages, right? Yep. You can't say that either. So you kind of dance both sides of this whole line and try and say, we don't know, but we do know. But we do know if we did know. And if we did know, we would then do know. But since we know, everything's okay. So stop asking questions.
I hope
it's Don Rumsfeld.
Critical mass. No, it's 100%. I was instantly thinking of Donald Rumsfeld as well in the run up to the war in Iraq. But I hope that, I know obviously Democrats, I would assume, are not going to be in favor of what Tom Cotton is saying. But there's more Republicans, right? Isn't Marjorie Greene against this sort of thing? She's against these wars, except for some that she's totally in favor of and she wants to invade Mexico. But other than that, isn't she against war, everyone? Well, perhaps we'll find out. I just love the idea of looking at what's been happening there, the horror of it, and thinking, how can we get in on that? But man, some people are monsters in human flesh.